Hey there, coin collectors and history lovers! Welcome back to GS Coins, your favorite channel where we dig deep into the fascinating world of old and rare coins from around the globe. If you're new here, I'm glad you've joined us. This is the place where tiny pieces of metal turn into stories, treasures, and sometimes real money. Today, we've got a truly special episode lined up. We're taking a look at two important Canadian 1-cent coins, one from 1952, the year Queen Elizabeth II began her reign, and the other from 2002, celebrating her Golden Jubilee, 50 years on the throne. Both coins hold rich historical significance, and in 2025, their market value just might surprise you. So stay tuned as we uncover the details and current price trends of these coins, especially if they're in good condition. Channel branding. This is GS Coins, your go-to destination for discovering coin values, collecting tips, and the history behind the coins you might already have at home. If you enjoy this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another episode. Now let's begin with a little trip back in time. Section 1. 1952. Canada 1-cent coin, the beginning of a royal era. The year 1952 was monumental for the British Commonwealth, and Canada in particular. That was the year Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne after the passing of her father, King George VI. Although the coins of 1952 still featured the portrait of King George VI, it was the final year of his image on Canadian currency. The 1952 Canada 1-cent coin features the classic twin maple leaf design by George Kruger Gray on the reverse and the portrait of King George VI on the obverse, facing left. The mintage that year was about 67.7 million coins, making it moderately available, but coins in top condition are not so easy to find today. Market value. In circulated condition, the 1952 1-cent coin is usually worth between 20 and 75 USD. In good to very fine condition, the value can rise to around 100 to 250 USD $300. For coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, values typically range from $170 to $325, and if graded by PCGS or NGC, some examples have sold for up to $300 to $500. Collectors love this coin because it's a closing chapter in one era and the quiet beginning of another. Section 2. 2002. Canada 1-cent coin, the Queen's Golden Jubilee. Fast forward 50 years to 2002. And Canada marked the Golden Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. To honor this historic milestone, 50 years of her reign, the Royal Canadian Mint released a commemorative 1-cent coin. Although the reverse still shows the traditional maple leaf design, the obverse features a special mature portrait of the Queen by artist Dora de Pedery Hunt. The 2002 Canada 1-cent coin had a mintage of approximately 716 million coins, and most were used in daily circulation. That means finding well-preserved examples is a bit more difficult now, especially over 2 decades later. 2025 market value. In average circulated condition, the 2002 penny typically sells for 10 to 40 USD. Coins in good or extra fine condition are worth around $100 to $250, and in uncirculated or mint state, these coins can fetch $50 to $150, especially if they're from a mint or proof set. Special certified coins can go for $200 or more, especially among royal memorabilia collectors following the Queen's passing in 2022. Section 3. Why these coins matter to collectors. Now you might be wondering, what makes these two pennies from such different eras so interesting to collectors? Well, here are a few reasons. Royal milestones. The 1952 coin marks the start of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and the 2002 coin marks her 50th year as monarch. Together, they tell an incredible story. Obverse portraits. 1952 shows King George VI, while 2002 has the mature Queen, offering a unique visual comparison of two key figures in royal history. Limited survivors in mint condition. Many of these coins were heavily circulated, making high-grade examples more desirable today. Historical and emotional value. For royal collectors, Commonwealth history lovers, and Canadians, these coins are far more than currency. They represent identity and legacy. Section 4. Storing and selling tips. If you happen to have one or both of these coins, especially in good or mint condition, be sure to protect them properly. Use coin flips, holders, or airtight capsules. Avoid cleaning the coins, as even gentle polishing can lower their value significantly. When it comes time to sell, take clear photos in natural lighting, and list your coins on platforms like eBay, Etsy, or coin collector forums. If the coin looks especially clean or uncirculated, it may be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS, NGC, or ICCS to have its condition officially certified. Section 5. Final thoughts. In the world of coin collecting, every piece has a story, and these two pennies from 1952 and 2002 are no exception. They connect us to a 50-year span of royal history and a changing era in Canadian coinage. And while they may not be the rarest coins in existence, their historical weight, aesthetic appeal, and collector interest make them wonderful treasures to hold on to or pass down. Next up, the 1985 Canada 1-cent coin, a small copper piece that may still be sitting unnoticed in drawers, jars, or coin albums, but which actually holds increasing interest and value in the collector market. So if you've come across a 1985 Canadian penny in good condition, keep watching, because it might be worth a lot more than just 1 cent in 2025. Historical background. The 1985 Canadian 1-cent coin might seem like just another penny, but it's actually a fascinating part of Canadian numismatic history. This coin features the familiar maple leaf twig design on the reverse, created by G.E. Kruger Gray, a design that first appeared on Canadian pennies in 1937 and became a beloved national symbol. On the obverse, we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine, which was used from 1965 until 1989. The Machine portrait shows the Queen wearing a tiara and facing to the right a design that reflects Canada's royal connection and long-standing tradition. In 1985, Canada struck over 771 million of these 1-cent coins, making it a high mintage year. But don't be fooled, that doesn't mean every 1985 penny is worthless. In fact, coin condition, rarity, and top grades and demand among collectors can make a big difference. 2025 Market Value. So how much is the 1985 Canada 1-cent coin worth in 2025? Well, its value depends heavily on its condition. In average circulated condition, this coin typically sells for about 10 to 30 cents USD. Not bad for a 1-cent piece. But if your coin is in better shape, things get more interesting. A coin in extra fine XF condition might fetch $1 to $2.50. Coins in almost uncirculated AU condition are valued higher, usually between $3 to $5. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a mint state, MS60 or higher coin, especially with full luster and sharp detail, its value can reach $10 to $20 or more depending on the grading. And here's the kicker: certified coins from grading services like PCGS or NGC, especially those graded MS65 or above, have been known to sell for $30, $50, and sometimes even higher at auctions or online platforms like eBay. So yes, a well-preserved 1985 penny can be a real gem. Collector tips. If you have a 1985 penny, the first thing to do is check the condition. Look closely for scratches, wear, discoloration, or damage. If your coin still has its original shine, minimal wear, and clear design detail, you may have something special. To preserve its value, always store your coins in protective holders or coin flips. Avoid cleaning your coins. Cleaning can damage the surface and drastically reduce collector interest. If you're serious about selling or keeping it long-term, consider getting it professionally graded. A coin with an official grade holds more value and trust in the market. Why it's worth collecting. So why are collectors drawn to the 1985 Canadian penny? It's not just about age, it's also about nostalgia. This was a time before Canada stopped producing the penny altogether in 2012. That means each older penny is a snapshot of Canadian history. The 1985 coin, in particular, represents a blend of high production, long-standing royal design, and a turning point in how we view small denomination currency. Collectors are also watching for standout examples from high mintage years like 1985 because they're much harder to find in pristine condition. And with fewer people holding on to pennies today, values are slowly but surely on the rise. Fun fact. Here's a fun fact. While Canada struck over 700 million of these coins, many have since been melted down, damaged, or lost over time. That's why high-grade examples are far scarcer than the original Mintage suggests. So the next time you come across an old 1985 penny in your change or collection, take a second look. It might be worth more than you expected. Next up, the 1987 Canadian 1-cent coin. While it may look like just another copper penny, you'd be surprised to know how much this little piece of Canadian history can be worth, especially in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just found one in your coin jar, you'll want to watch this all the way through. Historical background. The 1987 Canada 1-cent coin is part of a long-standing tradition of Canadian coinage that features national pride and symbolism. On the reverse, we see the classic maple leaf twig design created by George Edward Kruger Gray, an image that has become deeply iconic in Canadian culture. This design was first introduced back in 1937 and continued until the penny was discontinued in 2012. On the obverse side, the coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, which was used from 1965 until 1989. The Queen is shown wearing a tiara, facing to the right, and the text around her reads, Elizabeth II D.G. Regina. In 1987, the Royal Canadian Mint produced over 782 million of these 1-cent coins. That's a massive number. But what makes some of these coins valuable is their condition, rarity in high grades, and demand among collectors today. 2025 market value. Now let's talk about what you really came here for. How much is the 1987 Canada 1-cent coin worth in 2025? Well, in circulated condition, most of these coins typically sell for around 10 to 25 cents USD, depending on how much wear they've seen. However, if your 1987 penny is in extremely fine, XF condition, you might get $1 to $2. For coins in almost uncirculated, AU grade, the value can go up to $3 to $4.5. And here's where things really get exciting. Coins in mint state, MS60 to MS65 condition, especially those with no scratches, no discoloration, and full original luster, can be worth $10 to $25 or even more. If you have a graded coin from a reputable service like PCGS or NGC and it's rated MS65 red or better, it could fetch up to $40 or more in the current collector market. The red designation refers to the original red copper shine, which makes these coins even more attractive to collectors. Collector tips. So, what should you be looking for if you have a 1987 Canadian penny? First and foremost, condition is key. The more pristine your coin, the more it's worth. Look closely for luster, sharp edges, and minimal signs of wear. The original red shine is especially desirable and adds to its value. Store your coins in non-PVC holders, coin flips, or albums to prevent further damage. And whatever you do, do not clean your coin. Cleaning removes natural toning and destroys the surface, drastically lowering the value. If you think your coin is in excellent shape, consider having it professionally graded to unlock its full market potential. Why it's popular. The 1987 Canada 1-cent coin is becoming more popular among collectors for several reasons. First, it's part of the final decades of Canadian penny production before the denomination was discontinued in 2012. Second, coins from high mintage years like 1987 are harder to find in top condition because most were used heavily in everyday transactions. That's why collectors are always searching for high-grade survivors from years like 1987. They represent a perfect mix of nostalgia, history, and value potential. Closing and call to action. So there you have it, the 1987 Canada 1-cent coin may be small in size, but it has a big story and solid value in 2025, especially if it's in mint condition. If you have one of these coins at home, take a moment to inspect it. It might just be a hidden gem in your collection. Let me know in the comments. Next up, the 1981 Canadian 1-cent coin. You might be surprised by how much this tiny copper coin can be worth in 2025, especially in excellent condition. So let's dig into the story behind this coin and explore its current value and collectability. Historical background. The 1981 Canada 1-cent coin holds a unique place in Canadian coinage. Like other 1-cent coins minted before 1997, this one is made of 95.5% copper, 3% tin, and 1.5% zinc, giving it that classic reddish tone and heavy feel compared to more modern coins. On the reverse, we see the beautiful and iconic two maple leaves on a twig, a design by George Edward Kruger Gray that has symbolized Canadian identity for decades. The obverse features the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine. In this version, the Queen is wearing a tiara and is surrounded by the Latin inscription Elizabeth dag Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. In 1981, the Royal Canadian Mint produced a whopping 1.2 billion of these pennies. With such a high mintage, you might think they're worthless. But as we'll see, condition and scarcity in high grades can make a huge difference. 2025 market value. So what is the 1981 Canada 1-cent coin worth in 2025? In circulated condition, most of these coins are worth around 5 to 20 cents USD. However, coins in extremely fine XF or about uncirculated AU condition can sell for $1 to $2.5, depending on their color and shine. Coins in mint state, MS60 to MSE65, which are well preserved and free of wear, can command even higher prices, often ranging from 5 to 15 USD. If you happen to have a coin that's certified by a grading company like NGC or PCGS, especially one graded MS65 red or higher, it could fetch $25 to $40 USD, sometimes more depending on buyer demand. One important thing to note, red copper coins, those that still retain their original red tone, are far more valuable than brown or even red-brown examples. Color, luster, and strike quality all play a role in how much a collector is willing to pay. What collectors look for. Collectors searching for the 1981 Canadian penny are generally looking for one in gem condition, with no wear on the high points, a strong strike, and full original luster. Avoid cleaning your coin, even with the best intentions, as this will severely reduce its value. Always store your coins in airtight holders or acid-free coin flips to protect them from moisture, air, and scratching. Some 1981 pennies may have subtle die variations or minting errors, such as die cracks or doubling. If you spot any irregularities under magnification, your coin could be worth significantly more to error collectors. Why it's still popular in 2025. Despite its high mintage, the 1981 Canadian 1-cent coin continues to hold a special place in the hearts of collectors. It's part of the beloved copper era before Canada began phasing out pennies and switching to cheaper materials. Also, as time passes, fewer high-grade examples survive due to wear, corrosion, or being lost entirely, meaning well-preserved specimens are becoming more desirable. Many collectors also seek to build full Canadian cent collections, and 1981 is a must-have in a complete set. Conclusion and call to action. So there you have it. The 1981 Canada 1-cent coin might be common in number, but it's far from worthless. Depending on its condition, it can be worth many times its face value, especially in 2025's collector market. Whether you already own one or are thinking about hunting for it, it's a great addition to any Canadian coin collection. Have you found a 1981 penny recently? What condition is it in? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories and help you evaluate your finds. Next up, the 1979 Canada 1-cent coin, a small coin with some surprising details and market value in 2025. If you've found one of these coins lying around, or you're simply curious about how much it's worth today, make sure you stick around till the end. Don't forget to subscribe to GS Coins and click that notification bell so you never miss out on the hidden gems in your coin collection. History and design. The 1979 Canadian penny is a beautiful representation of Canada's rich coinage heritage. Struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, it was made using a copper alloy consisting of 95.5% copper, 3% tin, and 1.5% zinc, giving it that deep reddish tone collectors love. The coin weighs about 2.8 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. On the obverse side, you'll see a classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine. This portrait was used on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989 and features the Queen wearing a tiara. The reverse of the coin is where Canada's national identity shines. It displays two maple leaves on a twig, a design by George Kruger Gray. It's been a beloved symbol of Canadian cents since 1937 and still admired for its elegance and simplicity. Mintage and circulation. In 1979, the Royal Canadian Mint produced an impressive 911 million 1-cent coins. That's right, almost a billion. Because of this large mintage, the coin is very common in circulated condition. However, as with all coins, the true value lies in condition, rarity of mint errors, and collector demand. As time goes on, high-grade examples become scarcer since many of these pennies have suffered corrosion, handling, or were lost over time. That's why coins preserved in excellent shape still draw attention from collectors in 2025. Value in 2025. So what can your 1979 Canadian 1-cent coin fetch in today's market? In circulated condition, this coin typically sells for 5 to 15 cents USD. While that may not seem like much, it's still 5 to 15 times its original face value. In extra fine XF to about uncirculated AU condition, you might expect 25 cents to $1 USD. However, if your coin is in mint state, MS60 to MS65, and retains its original red copper luster, it can command anywhere from $2 to $500 $10 USD. A certified MS66 red coin with flawless detail and full color can sell for $15 to $25 USD or more, depending on the demand. And if you have a coin with a minting error, such as doubling, off-center strike, or die cracks, collectors may be willing to pay a premium, especially for dramatic or rare errors. Collector tips. If you're trying to determine the value of your 1979 penny, here are a few tips. Check the color. Red pennies are worth more than red, brown, or brown coins. Look closely for errors. Using a magnifying glass, inspect the date, lettering, and maple leaves for signs of doubling or unusual marks. Avoid cleaning. Cleaning your coin will destroy its natural patina and reduce its value. Storage matters. Keep your coins in acid-free flips or capsules to prevent oxidation and damage. The copper content alone gives older Canadian pennies a collectible edge, not just for their metal value, but also for their classic design and disappearing presence in circulation. Final thoughts. So there you have it. The 1979 Canadian 1-cent coin may seem like a small piece of metal, but in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest coins can carry rich history and real value. Whether you're holding on to a common circulated version or a high-grade red beauty, there's always something to appreciate about this humble penny. Have a 1979 Canadian cent in your collection? Drop a comment below and let us know what condition yours is in. We'd love to hear from you, and who knows, you might be holding on to a hidden gem. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to GS Coins, and tap the notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload new content. We've got more videos coming your way on rare coins from Canada, the US, Australia, and all over the world. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting!